And then gonna hit my start presentation.
Give me
All
the
right.
3, 2, 1 when you're ready.
Everyone good?
Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are live from all of our rooms. We got UFC 329 preview and predictions, the return of McGregor, International Fight Week, Vegas. Dare I say, July 11th. We gonna find out. Tyler, Kern, how are y'all doing?
I am running on pure adrenaline right now, Kevin. We are been busy men, you and I, these past couple of weeks between football and UFC stuff. And also, I'm angry because the refs just screwed over the U.S. men's soccer team last night. It had nothing to do whatsoever with the fact that we looked like a bunch of dead fish out there on the pitch, and that there was no hustle whatsoever, and that they were a dog team. Please bleep that out. But yeah, no. So I'm in a bad attitude, but I guess that's perfect. The channel. Let's talk some UFC.
All right. And yes, we got I'm gonna say we got a mid card for International Fight Week. McGregor's back. That's big as is, but the rest of the card, dare I say, a little lackluster. That's kind of my thoughts on it. I feel, Tyler, you might share similar thoughts. Curran, you as
No, well,
well.
Kev, before you hopped on, me and Curran were actually talking. I'm going to respectfully disagree with you, and here's why. I feel like almost every card that I've touched on in my amateur career of covering this stuff with you guys, the odds are usually like if you get somebody within a minus 200 odds, it's like that's close. Looking at these odds, we only got one guy who's straying from that, and that's in Kavanaugh Roy Val's matchup. I know I haven't looked at the odds for the prelim cards, but with that one in particular, even that one, I don't want to spoil my pick, but the rest of these, it's a pick 'em with all these fights. You know what I mean? So, Kern, what are your thoughts on that?
No, I agree, man. Honestly, like this is a tough card to pick. There's so many close fights, at least on paper. Shout out Anthony Smith. So I don't know where it's gonna go. I mean, I kind of agree with both of you. Like, it's not the most exciting in terms of like the type of fighters. Like, yes, we have some guys on here that can get knockout finishes. We have some guys that get submissions, but it's not like one of those fighters like the last card where like Tuporia, Alex Pereira, guys like them who are like like huge superstars. Like, of course we have Conor McGregor, but he hasn't been a huge superstar in like a decade in terms of like the caliber of his performances within the UFC. But that's the main draw, right? It's the main event. It's to see him face off against Max Holloway. We obviously we'll get to that in a few minutes, but
Yep.
yeah, I don't know. I think this card could be underrated, but at the same time, I could see a lot of decisions. So we'll just have to see. But excited to get into discussions with both of you.
All right.
Yeah, Kev, before we keep going, the memes, man. I wish I could jump into your brain to understand. Well, the photoshopped fat guy with wearing a Letterman. What's that about?
Oh, that's Patty Pimblett. That's him outside of camp. He kind of blows up, eats a lot famously, and that's not Photoshop. That's actually Patty Pimblett a few months after his bout against Jared Gordon, I believe. So pretty
Okay.
crazy, yeah.
Okay.
We also got
Patty
a
the
little
fatty.
little Towelgate revenge here. Famously, this is maybe I think this was during COVID 2020. Max Holloway was weighing in for his fight against Volkanovski, maybe, and Justin Gaethje decided to help hold the towel. And he realized he was holding it upside down, so he tried to switch it, forgetting that Max Holloway was butt as naked behind the towel. So we got to see Max Holloway's weight cut wee wee. And then obviously 4 years later, he got his revenge over Justin Gaethje. So I think that it could also foreshadow, if Max gets this win against Connor, I think he might be able to jump the line and challenge Justin Gaethje for the lightweight title.
Yes.
Sorry, Armon, but yeah,
Yeah,
we got some good memes here.
I definitely have some talking points on that point, but let's get into the fights.
All right.
Kev, you want to start off with what are we going with?
Yeah, so we're gonna be covering 7 fights. I'm doing a little feature for Tracy Cortez Wang Kong because I'm actually pretty excited for this fight. I've been following Wang Kong since her UFC debut. She started off with 2 huge knockouts, like scary power for the women's flyweight division. And yeah, she's going to be going up against Tracy Cortez, who's pretty
Phew.
popular. These There's one point I would like to make, one last gripe I have with the UFC, and I think this fight week is a perfect example with McGregor back, and you got a fan favorite Max Holloway. Do sit down face to face interviews.
Yeah, I
Do
agree.
some promotion. You're a fight promotion. Promote the fight.
I
Those Yeah. I
I have not, dude. You guys know me when it comes to being online with the X account. I have not seen nothing about UFC 329. The World Cup has just overtaken my algorithm, and like even when I go into the UFC like sphere, there's not that much excitement. I don't know if it's you. I said it to you guys earlier. I think a bit of it is the UFC 250 hangover. Curran, what are your thoughts about it?
Yeah, I agree, man. I think that they put a lot of time, money, and thought into the White House card, and this one's kind of an afterthought, which is kind of crazy because Conor McGregor's on there.
Right? Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's also timing, right? You made a good point. Like the World Cup is in full swing right now. There's a lot of, I mean, Erling Haaland. Anytime you get on
Oh my
Twitter,
god!
or
I was
he's
gonna say my
everywhere, and
YouTube
Oh,
Shorts
it's
is
yeah,
amazing.
and
just
I
that
love it.
man.
I love
I
it.
love
Don't
it
get me
too,
wrong.
dude.
But like at the same time, it's kind of hard to get that traction because while the UFC has become a massive sport over the last decade, and even since COVID too, there's been another jump. Like soccer, football, whatever you call it, it's the biggest sport in the world. So it's kind of taking over everything right now.
Yep.
But yeah, I agree. The sit down interviews they used to do were amazing. They haven't done any of that recently. And
No.
yeah, I am a little disappointed in the promotion for this card for sure.
Yeah, but we
Let's get
won't let
into it.
that, we're doing our job to promote the fight right here, us, YouTube content creators. So, we'll
Yeah.
get into the first bout that I'm covering here.
Yep.
Yeah, like I said, Kong Wang versus Tracy Cortez. This Tracy Cortez, she, famously dated Brian Ortega for a while, and then they had a messy breakup. Then she was dating Alex Pereira for a little while. They apparently had a messy breakup, and Tracy Cortez gets a lot of flack for, I don't know, maybe being crazy or something. And I gotta say, like, enough with that.
Yeah.
This is a Conor McGregor fight card. He's like there's more crazy things than being like a weird ex.
I
So not
I
to
put 0 stock into anybody calling them crazy. They're fighters. They're supposed to be
Yeah,
crazy.
they're prize fighters. Yeah.
Come
So
on.
this fight, we have Kong Wang. She has been a 3-1 favorite or better in all 5 of her UFC bouts. She lost as a minus 950 favorite to
Mm.
Fernandez. And that was a fight that she was winning. She was doing well. She got a little cocky and ended up getting subbed. So we'll see if she's recovered from that. What what I see happening in this fight, and I'll get right to my prediction. Sergey Pavlovich, he was on a tear, just crazy, scary knockouts, and then he had his loss to Tom Aspinall, and then it was a few lackluster decisions after that. But in his last fight, he knocked out Taliesin Teixeira. I think Kong Wang's going to have a similar arc here, where she had her loss and she's had a couple safe decisions. Showing off her. I believe she's undefeated kickboxer as well. I think 8-0-1 is her kickboxing record. But I'm looking to see her get a highlight reel knockout international fight week against Tracy Cortez. Tracy Cortez, no no schmo herself, although she's never got a decision win in the UFC or in
Hmm.
her entire MMA career, which is kind of crazy. She also, let's see, I had one other. Oh yeah, this is the intangibles here. Tracy Cortez, she was born in Phoenix, so this is a little bit of like a home fight for her. And she's notoriously done very well in Las Vegas. Her 2 losses have been in Denver against Rose, and then Aaron Blanchfield was in New York City. So it seems like whenever she's fighting out of Vegas, she brings it. I am calling this a round 1 knockout, but don't be surprised if this fight ends up going into the 3rd round and we see a crazy finish there. Uh, on the fly picks from you two. Want to make a
Curran, you
shot?
go. Curran, I'm interested what you got to say.
Honestly, I don't know much about Kong Wang, but I did do a quick search, and she's the one who dressed up as the Joker and did the Joker face paint, which is terrifying. So I'm just gonna go with her. That's scary. Like, off of nothing else. Like I have never seen her fight before, so I'm gonna go Kong Wang. You know what? Let's go with KO. I'd like to see a knockout. So to start
Okay.
the card off, or I know this isn't the first fight on the card, but it'd be a nice,
Mhm.
yeah.
All right. Yeah, looking at this on paper, boys, this is two fighters that, I mean, the odds themselves don't know what to make of it. They're both listed as favorites with -103 and -117 odds right now. Exact same age, same height, same reach, at least from what, I got generated by my AI here. One thing I will say based on their fighting styles, if it goes to the ground, that's going to be definitely an advantage Cortez. If it just stays into a kickboxing fight using that Sanda style, I had to just look up what that is right now. Then yeah, advantage Wang. That being said, I'm going to agree with Curran. Let's get a knockout for Wang, and this hopefully will get her official nickname because she does not have one listed as of now in the UFC.
Uh, the Joker, I think, is her nickname, but we will.
Well, not according to Claude. So
Uh, yeah. All right, let's get to. We're gonna skip all the way. We're gonna skip Gable Stevenson's fight. He's a -2,000 favorite. We're going to the featured prelim. We have Robert Whitaker versus Nikita Krylov. So, to set the stage, this next fight features a fan favorite, Robert Whitaker, squaring off against a perennial light heavyweight and proud Russian, Nikita Krylov. So, what is the purpose of the picture seen before you, Tyler? Well, Bobby Knuckles, his other nickname, is the Reaper, and a fan made him a custom shirt. The problem? Question mark. Well, not unlike the crotch area of
oh god.
jeans, shirts
Oh
sometimes crease in all the wrong places.
God, why do you always do God? Okay.
Anyhow, let's get to the breakdown. So, Robert Whitaker, he's been a staple of the UFC after winning the Ultimate Fighter in 2012 and subsequently going 2-2 as a welterweight. He moved up to middleweight, where 6 straight victories gave him a shot at interim gold against Yoel Romero. He won that fight and was promoted to the undisputed champion after GSP vacated the belt. Following another all-time classic split decision win against Romero, he squared off against an undefeated striker by the name of Israel Adesanya, who handed Rob his first loss in the division. Following that loss, he went 6-2, only losing a rematch against Izzy and a fight against future champion Dricus du Plessis. However, back-to-back losses have led him and his quest to recapture UFC gold into the waters of 205. Before I get into my thoughts on the matchup, I'll kick it to Curran for his analysis.
Well said, Kevin. You did a great job breaking down this fight. Honestly, I this one's strange. I never thought I'd see Robert Whitaker fight at 205, but here we are. Like the tough thing is, in his last 5 fights, he's lost 3 times, and twice he's been finished. Once by TKO against Dracus, and then once by sub to Hamzat Shamayev. And those guys are like, I mean, Dracus is a big middleweight, don't get me wrong, but his other fights, they're like normal sized middleweights, and Robert isn't really the biggest 185 pounder. Nikita Krylov's pretty big. He's 6'3", and his reach is almost 80 inches. I think this is going to be really tough for Robert. I really do. He's going to have to fight perfectly to get the win. I think Krylov can hurt him and take him out. Um, I also just don't know if Robert's going to be able to take him down. And if he does, is he going to be able to hold him down? Like, Robert is really well known for his jab and then his two-piece with the soda. As we all know, his 1-2 and that left high kick or that right high kick, I can't remember, which is his best weapon. I mean, his right high kick is his best weapon. If he lands that, I could see him getting Krylov hurt and maybe getting the finish, but I don't know. I mean, we've seen so many Robert Whitaker fights at this point. I think their camp has to know it's coming. I just think Krylov's going to be too big and too much for him, so I'm going to go Krylov via decision.
Oof. And I mean, you bring up a lot of good points. The size really is the question mark. I mean, Rob fought at 170 pounds earlier in his career.
Yeah.
The one thing, and also if it does go to the ground, Nikita Krylov, he has 5 submission wins in the UFC. He has 4 submission losses in the UFC, though.
Hmm.
But he's no novice on the ground as well. And to give away my pick, I am going with Rob by decision, and that's very much a homer pick there, but, the one thing that gives me some hope is that Renier de Ridder fight with Rob. Renier was similar frame to Nikita, very long, kickboxer, and Rob was he lost that via unanimous decision. It was very close. It was kinda split either way, amongst the media scoring, but he did catch Renier de Ridder. It was either in the 2nd or the 3rd round. He was able to get him, I think it was with an overhand right, dropped him, but then, he couldn't find the finish on the ground. He kinda gassed himself out trying to land punches and get it through Renier de Ridder's guard, which even while he was on his back, he's got the length to kind of keep Rob at bay. So, you know, I don't see him getting a finish because I just don't think he has the power to put Nikita out cold. And then if Nikita drops to the ground, I don't have that much confidence in Rob finishing it there. So I'm thinking maybe a 29-28 decision. He's a fan favorite, so the crowd's going to be cheering him, booing Nikita. And sometimes with these judges, the crowd cheering, even if you're whiffing and hitting air, that it does score for him. So that's what I got here. Homer pick for Rob. Tyler, you did not do
Yeah,
too much
okay,
research on this one, but you got
fellas,
an on the fly pick.
huh? Yeah, on the fly. Let me ask you boys a question. Did you guys watch Nikita Krylov's loss versus Prohaska?
Um, so I saw your notes that you sent us, and he has not fought Yuri Prohaska.
I gotta bleep that. I gotta train my AI a little
Is
bit
it
better.
against Tyler, is it against either Bogdan Guskov or Dominic Reyes? Those are his last two losses.
Okay, well then I'm just wrong here. Okay. Look, I'm gonna just go with the size advantage. Krylov wins out across the board against Whitaker. I love the dogs a lot looking at this card, man. Um, and I do think that just kind of looking at it, if it goes to the ground, I think it would be an advantage, Krylov, because of looking at the people he has fought. Now that I'm back up on the UFC page, he's fought against some guys with a lot bigger frames, so advantage him. Um, and yeah, I'm gonna just go with my God, Krylov submission.
Oof. I mean, he's got 5 wins via submission in the UFC, and I think he had another 5 in whatever promotion he was in before the UFC. One other fun fact, Nikita's fought 3 future UFC champions, I believe. It was Jan Blachowicz, Glover Teixeira, and then Magomed Ankalaev. 0 for 3 in those bouts. So Rob, being a former champ himself, maybe a future champ at this weight class. Who knows? All right, let's get to the main card now,
Yep.
and we have. Oh yeah, this I put a little skit together. So King Green, his last 3 losses were all via first round finish, 2 KOs and a sub. So he asked Dana White, "Hey, could I get a fight that I want a fight I can kind of work into, not something where some guy's going to be rushing me." Then Dana White remembered that the UFC 304 presser, Bobby Green, pressed him into upping the fighter performance bonuses from 50K to 100K, which is Dana's least favorite thing in the world is paying fighters. So that's actually how this fight got put together.
Well, wait, I also did some research on that too. Isn't there some personal beef in this one, and that they were friends? But good googly moogly curr in your washing machine is loud. Um, that distracted me so much. But wasn't the
Yes, you are
story that
right.
they were friends beforehand and they like promised to never fight each other? And then McKinney actually agreed to the fight. So now Mr. King Green is saying it's personal.
Yes, no, that's
Okay.
exactly right. And not to tie everything back into Sergey Pavlovich on this episode, but very similar to his fight against Volkov, where they were friends and the UFC kind of pressured one of them into taking the fight. And then when one of them accepted the fight, it kind of rubbed the other guy the wrong way. And now Terrence McKinney's doubling down. He was on an interview and the guy was asking him, well, are you going to call him King Green? Because he legally changed his name to King Green. And Terrence said no. The interviewer asked, "What will you call him?" And he said, "I'll call him Bobby because he's about to get smurted." So they're yeah.
Boo.
Yeah, so there's some beef there, and I mean the UFC, because they won't promote stuff themselves, they love things that promote themselves, whether it's Conor McGregor or it's a friends turn foe story like this. But this is a crazy good fight to open up the main card.
Right. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so too. Let me take it a minute. One thing that jumped out about McKinney, just doing some research on him, is that he's only been out of the first round 4 times. So I kind of teased a prop bet there. I'm just gonna say this one doesn't go outside of the first round. Keep that trend going because did we lose Curran?
Well, we'll keep rolling with it.
Okay, we'll keep rolling. Because when I watched, Green's last fight against, Zellhuber, the one thing that I noticed is he's, like, very, like, I don't know what the term for this is, but when he's able to just like quickly snap away from a punch or like kind of just like fly away from it, like bob and weaving. And McKinney's fighting style is coming out hot, coming out mean, and trying to take some guy down like almost immediately. I think when you add that personal beef into this, I do think that King Green's going to be able to like elude him a little bit more and just going to get McKinney off of his feet way too quickly. And so that's why I am going to be going with Mr. Bobby King Green, even though, is he the dog in this? Yes,
Yeah.
but not by that much. Okay. And a little bit of, he's got the age, but he's also got the size and he's also got the reach. So yeah, I'm very confident with my pick and Mr. King Green. And let me pull up my text to remind myself what I took him by. Uh, yeah, I'm taking Green via sub. Yep, I'm comfortable with that.
Okay. That's no, I think you kind of summed up what this fight's going to come down to. Terrence McKinney is going to come at him as fast as he can in the first round, and it's gonna be up to King to make him miss. We covered Bobby or King Green's fight, against Jeremy Stevens on the, Chimaev Strickland card a few months ago, and I think I mentioned this then, but Ba King Green's gotta be one of the most annoying fighters to be losing against because he talks trash. He is so hard to hit. He's cocky. He's got his hands down,
Yeah,
he's
I
like,
did
"Oh,
notice
you
that. Yeah.
missed," he's gonna talk the entire time, and what to give away my prediction, I do think that Terrence is gonna be able to get him. I think he's gonna be able to catch up to him, either get his hands on him or, use his slight reach advantage to catch him. But if he's not, it's gonna be a really long night because, Terrence McKinney is an aggressive fighter, and if you're an aggressive fighter and you can't hit your opponent, you're going to get flustered. You're going to get frustrated. I see this being first round KO win for Terrence McKinney. If it goes to the second round and you're watching live, maybe it might be worth putting down a decision win bet for King Green because I Terrence McKinney, all 8 of his UFC wins have happened in the first round. And then 3 of his 5 UFC losses were round one stoppages as well. Twice, as you alluded to, he's gotten to the second round twice, but he's never seen a judge's scorecards in 13 UFC
So
fights.
do you think he's going to come out the gate and just immediately have Bobby King like in a grapple situation?
Yeah, I don't even know if he'll go for to engage in grappling. I think he's gonna run at him. Try to. He has a 7-second knockout victory against. I can't remember who it was. Giles maybe. So he can punch hard in the first round. He doesn't need to rely on the grappling. Especially since King Green got a sub win in his last fight. So maybe Terrence would be more hesitant to go to the ground. I think he's just going to run across the octagon, try to fluster him, and try to take him out. Maybe get some elbows, dirty elbows up against the cage, something like that.
Curran.
Yes, I moved. Hopefully, it's a little bit easier to hear me now. Anyway, I'll make my pick quick. Yeah, I think that McKinney is going to start this fight off quickly, and I think he's going to put pressure on Bobby Green right out of the gate. I do think he's going to find the finish. Bobby Green can be tough to hit, but he is a little chinny, and he's gotten caught a lot of times. And Terrence McKinney's a guy that only needs to land clean once. So I think if he clips Bobby pretty quickly in the fight, he can end it right then and there. I don't see this fight going past the first round, and if it does, I will say I think Kevin's onto something where you might want to put down some money on King Green because Terrence McKinney kind of just like puts everything out there in the first 5 minutes, and if he doesn't get the finish, then he's kind of screwed. So that being said, I do see this being an exciting fight, at least the first round, and I'm going to go with McKinney via TKO.
Can you make bets on DraftKings for it not to go past the first round?
Yeah, there's an over under
All right, well,
total
I'm definitely
rounds.
gonna
So
hammer that. Yeah.
yeah, because yeah, I think you can also make bets like by method and round. So you can make like first round KO as a prop
Mm.
bet. Um, I think I looked at it and like a first round KO for McKinney is only like plus 150. Yeah, there. Yeah, just because, like I said, he's literally never gotten a finish outside of the first round, outside of the first like 3 minutes, really. So yeah,
All right, well,
yeah,
that might be cool just to look at, like, what a second round KO odds are. Just
yeah.
sprinkle
And
on
I
it, you
mean,
know
if
what I
there's
mean?
somebody who could probably, I mean, King Green would be the guy to complete not get touched in the first round, frustrate Terrence McKinney, but then in the second round get a little too cocky and get caught. Because he is a little chinny. His last three fights have been great, but the spinning heel kick KO by Mauricio Hufi on him was scary. And then can't remember what ref it was who was reffing his fight against Jalen Turner, but that was one of the latest stoppages I've ever seen. Like Bobby Green went unconscious twice, came to and was still getting punched, and then the ref finally jumped in. Um, so he's taking some damage, but yeah, this fight though should be a banger. I
Yeah,
not to I don't want to jinx anything, but I have no doubt this fight's gonna rock.
no doubt. All
No
right,
doubt.
let's get into
Now
it.
some small guys here with big hearts. We have Brandon Royval versus Loner Kavanaugh. Tyler, you want to take the greens on this one?
Yeah, I love that you opened up with that because the first thing I have written on here is just little guys. But yeah, no, we got the number 4 and number 5 ranked flyweights, if I'm not mistaken, right at the moment. I'm bummed looking at their fighting styles because it leads me to believe it's going to end up becoming a ground and pound. And anytime I see small guys like this, I want them to stay on their feet and go Manny Pacquiao style. You know what I mean? But that being said, looking at their past fights, Royval definitely been on a downtrend recently, getting taken down by Mr. Josh Van in his last fight, or no, 2 fights ago, excuse me, and Manel Cape in his last fight. But uh, here's where it comes down to. You got 7 years difference between these guys, right? That's what it comes out to. I just want to make sure. Yes, 7 years is what it comes out to. The rest of their metrics, pretty much they're on the even keel. However, I don't think Royval's 2 losses really paints a picture of 2 astounding losses. I watched a little bit of that fight or I went back and watched some highlights that he had against Joshua Van. My God, he was able to make Van feel some pain, man. He had over 400 strikes in that fight. It was nuts to watch. So that being said, I said it before and I will say it one more time. I love the dogs on this card, and I'm not going to stray away from that. And I love the submissions again. So I'm going to take Mr. Royval by submission. I think it's a come down to earth for Kavanaugh in this one.
Okay. Yeah, you said you love the dogs on this. You missed an opportunity. Brandon Royval's nickname is Raw Dog, Brandon Raw Dog Royval. So if you love the dogs, you got to go with the Raw. Uh,
Do
that's
no, I'm not going to
Curran. What
ask.
are your thoughts
I'm
on
not
this
going to
one?
ask. He's muted. Oh,
Kevin,
no,
I'll
he's
let
not.
you go, and then I'll jump in after
Okay.
you.
So first of all, Tyler, what a treat that fight against Joshua Van was. I remember watching it live last year, and it was just it was such a good fight. I think I had it as my fight of the year last year. But what is unfortunate for Brandon Royval, and I guess I'll give you another piece of praise, Tyler, because I was close to going Royval by submission. Just his experience on the ground, his experience with higher level opponents, frankly, than Loner Kavanaugh, but what it ultimately came down to for me is, and this might be a overwrought comparison, but I think Loner Kavanaugh, especially in the first and second round, is a better version of Joshua Van. He is a technical boxer. He has insane cardio for the first 2 rounds, and, the big knock on him was after, a round and a half, he's done. If you can weather that storm, you'll get an easy win, but he stepped in on short-ish notice. I think it was about 6 weeks, maybe 5 weeks, in his last fight against Brandon Moreno, former champion, 5 rounds in Mexico City. So elevation, I don't think anyone was giving him a chance. They assumed his cardio. They assumed he was going to gas after 2 rounds, and Brand, but he didn't. I think he ended up. Man, I feel like he ended up losing the 5th round actually, but he still looked good and fresh. And this is just a 3-round fight. So my thinking is if he had the cardio to go do that in Mexico City for 5 rounds, he's just gonna unleash on Brandon Royval. And I believe I
Okay.
have him getting a TKO KO win. Just that one last point. Royval's last fight against Manel Kape, I thought it was an early stoppage. So,
Okay.
I wouldn't call Royval chinny. He got clipped by one of the hardest punchers in the history of flyweight, and the ref got a little squeamish and jumped in, and I think stopped it too soon. So this one, I think it's either Kavanaugh with the KO, or Royval gets a submission because he does have those long arms, and he's got some experience there.
Yeah.
Okay. One
Sorry.
thing real quick, is that height, that I showed there, is there really a 5 inch difference between these boys?
On paper, Anthony Smith, yes. Uh, but I doubt it's actually 5 inches. I mean, the UFC, I feel like they have some drunk guy measure once when a fighter first joins the roster, and then that's what they go with. Like Francis Ngannou, famously, his reach was listed like 82 inches forever. But then when he went over to boxing, they did official measurements, and it was like 77 inches. So I do think that's what it says on paper because I double
Okay.
checked that myself. But I don't know if it's actually 5 inch difference. Maybe it's
I
closer to like 3-4 inches.
my I gotta stop trusting the robots, man. My thing really pick and shows what it wanted to get right. But okay, Kern, what you got?
Yeah, I think this is a really interesting fight. I haven't seen Loner Kavanaugh fight too much, but I have seen Royval fight quite a bit, and the guy is, per his nickname, the dude is a dog. Like he brings it every single fight. I've never seen a boring Brandon Royval fight. Now, I will say he's not the most powerful puncher, but he does overwhelm his opponents with his pace, and with his jab. And I'm riding with Royval because the guy just puts on relentless pressure to his opponents. And Kevin, what you said, again, as someone who hasn't watched Loner Kavanaugh fight, but now hearing that he does have potentially an issue with his cardio, I'm gonna ride with Royval. Now, I know you did mention that he did fight in Mexico City against Moreno and did win, which is very impressive. But I don't know. I feel like Royval, he's a veteran. I feel like people are counting him out. I think he's gonna pull out the decision win. I really do.
All
All
right.
right, yeah. This card is kind of it. I feel like Curran's thinking a lot of decisions. Tyler's thinking a lot of subs, and I'm pretty sure I have a lot of KO TKOs in my predictions. So we finally have some parity. No, the opposite of parity in our picks. Usually we're way too close together. So this time we got a real.
We don't have the curse graphic on this
Yeah.
episode. Yeah.
Yeah, just wait. Everyone who's watching right now, you gotta stay till the end just to see how varying our final pick graphic is. Anything else on this
Very.
one before we?
Now let's get into this first of 2 rematch fights we're going to be covering.
Yes.
All right, can I lead again?
Yeah, go for it.
All right. So yeah, like I said, and I'm asking to lead because I know that if I let you guys talk, you're going to take away the 3 talking points that I have. So I got to get in here quickly. Yeah, we got a rematch here. The results of the first one, I went back and watched that fight. Was Sanhagen got a submission over Batista, but how long ago was that? Somebody spot me. Like
7 years ago.
7
Yeah.
years ago. Okay. One thing I noticed, Batista was very hesitant to capitalize on situations where he could take down a guy who was a little bit taller than him, who was kind of losing his balance, low center of gravity type deal. Now, looking at this fight, the one thing that I noticed is these two gentlemen both had recently losses to like big stars in the UFC world, right? You know what I mean? Because you got Batista lost against Nurmagomedov, and then Sandhagen. Did I do? How did I do with that? Good.
Yeah.
Okay. And then Sandhagen lost against Davashvili.
Ah, you nailed it. You nailed it on the last episode.
Davalishvili?
Dishavili.
There it is. Yeah.
Davalishvili?
Dishavili.
Okay. But when I went back and watched those fights, here's what I had to say. Okay. I looked at Batista when he was fighting Nurmagomedov, and yes, and he got some diabolical head kicks in there, man. He got him down on the ground too. He was in that fight. He looked very competitive. However, when you go back and watch Sandhagen against Davalishvili, he just did not he seemed like he was on the run for a majority of that time, and he again seemed like he wasn't able to stay on his feet long enough to actually make an impact in that match. Now, that being said, if Batista can come out and learn from his previous mistakes where he didn't capitalize on just like the loss of balance that Sandhagen is inevitably going to have as a disadvantage, then I think he can take this one. And again, I love the submissions in this one, but I think it kind of, you got a guy who's a capoeira fighter and a guy who's a wrestling bujitsu fighter. It makes sense again. So once again, I'm going to be taking the dog in a submission with Mr. Mario Batista.
All right. Karen, you go. I'll go last.
Sounds good. Yeah. Again, I feel like all these fights, at least for me, I think they're all really close on paper.
Yep.
Again, shout out Lionheart. But yeah, this one I'm gonna say I haven't seen Mario Bautista fight much. But from what I have seen, he normally wins. Like the guy is not the most exciting. He's actually there's a lot of people that really don't like him because he kind of presses his opponents against the cage. He uses knee stomps and these boring clinch shots and tries to take his opponent down. He really does a lot of what people like to call stalling, but it is smart fighting. Like he knows how these fights are judged, and he knows that forward pressure and holding your opponent tends to win fights. Now, Corey has struggled against that in the past, but that was against Umar Nurmagomedov. I almost got it wrong. Umar Nurmagomedov and
Nice.
Merab Dvalishvili, who are two extremely high caliber grapplers. Not saying that Mario Bautista isn't, but he's not at the same level in my opinion. I think Corey is just going to pick him apart on the feet. And all he needs to do is keep moving and pop him with his jab, and he might be able to find the shot to put his lights out. On the flip side, Mario Bautista does a good job of getting his opponents and holding them down. I don't know. I'm going to be boring, but I'm going to go Corey via decision. I think that he, has improved so much over the past few years. His grappling has improved a lot as well. I feel like Bautista is going to have a really tough time holding Sandhagen down, and I think he's just going to kind of pick him apart from the outside and kind of coast to a decision.
Yeah, that's pretty solid analysis there. And yeah, Corey Sandhagen, after he got choked out by Aljo, he kind of reinvented his grappling game. And Tyler, I'm gonna say something that might make you reevaluate your pick, but Corey
No.
Sandhagen trains with Trevor Whitman. So he's teammates with Justin Gaethje, and that team has got to be at an all-time high. It's a very small team. It's like him, Kamaru Usman, Gaethje, Rose Namajunas, if she's still there, but they're doing something right out there in Colorado with Trevor Whitman. So I think just by that intangible, that's kind of almost enough in a close round or a close fight to have me lean towards Corey. But I also, just to touch on why Mario Bautista is why he doesn't have the fan support that somebody who was previously riding a 7 or 8 fight win streak you'd expect. He was the UFC, and I guess I'm kind of just airing out all my grievances with the UFC, but unless your name's John Jones, the UFC does not treat their legends well at all. And Bautista got paired up against Jose Aldo, and he fought that very, I don't even want to say boring style because it was very effective, but just push him up against the cage, shots in the clinch. very boring. But then on top of that, a lot of people think Aldo was robbed and he should have gotten the decision. Mario Bautista fought Aldo in the middle of, so Marab fought Aldo to a boring decision. Then Mario fights Aldo to a split decision. And then Amin Zahabi fights Aldo to another split decision that people think Aldo won. So just that's sort of why the fans kind of turned on him. But I will say in his last two fights, Tyler, like you mentioned, the head kicks against Umar,
Yep.
um, that made that fight interesting. It was almost like the
That
roles were reversed, and Umar was fighting kind of the boring pressure fight. And then he had a crazy good performance against Vinicius Oliveira in his last bout, getting the sub. So I would say like things are looking up for him. It's just tough. Like, if he put together a crazy, if he got a sub win, like you think, Tyler, or a KO, or even just a very interesting decision, I think his fan appeal could reach new highs. But he's going up against somebody like Corey Sandhagen, so I'm afraid that he's going to kind of revert to that more boring style, like you touched on, Curran. And I think Curran, like you said, he's got that boring style, but he's not as good at it as Umar Nurmagomedov or Marab. He's really good at it, but not that good. And I think this might just be me trying to like manifest what I want to happen because I do like Corey Sandhagen. But I kind of see him landing some good shots after he gets his range and his reads. So like landing some good shots in the second or third round, dropping him. But then I think Mario might go for like a panic takedown, leave his neck out there, and get choked out. Um, I think, yeah, I think that's what I'm going with. I might have put decision on the card at the end, but give me Corey by submission, Tyler.
uh quick question. Is that a typo? Is there actually a fighter I don't know about named Patchy Mix?
Yeah, that's there's.
He sucks
I
ass.
mean,
All right,
he's
I'm
also
gonna
kind
watch that guy right after we're done this call. I've never been more
Don't waste your time.
interested to watch a human being in my life. But okay, are we all good on the picks?
yeah, I believe
All
Patchy
right.
Mixed is dating Tatiana Suarez. All right.
Oh wow, good for him.
So now we get to the co-main event, maybe a little
Yes.
World Cup final preview here. We got England versus France, Paddy the Baddy versus Benoit,
Boo!
God of
No,
War,
no.
Saint Denis. What?
I'm saying boo, no, no. I don't want an England versus France final. Get that crap out of here. You kidding me?
True, yeah. Yeah,
No.
we'll have Argentina versus France.
Fellas, I want to read off if Patty were to win this. Three potential like main card fights he might have, and I want you guys to tell me which one y'all think is most likely to happen. Okay. Um, Justin Gaethje 2, Ilya Taporia, McGregor.
Sorry, we don't make fights till Tuesday, kid. Sorry, that's Dana White. No, that I man, McGregor, Ilya. I think Ilya, and I think that
Yeah,
one would make the most sense because their rivalry. Yeah, that's
yeah.
that.
Patty was talking down on him after 250, man.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Ilya was talking down on him after he lost to Gaethje.
That is
Yeah,
true. That is
that.
true.
Yeah, I do just a note on that. Like his fight versus Gaethje poked him in the eye twice. That I believe he lost 4 rounds to 1. Maybe it was 3 rounds to 2, but like those pokes did, because he got poked in the eye, and then before the ref could step in, he got dropped. So that rematch. I would like to see that as well. I don't think Justin's going to be around long enough for
Yeah,
that rematch to happen. But yeah,
probably not.
that's a tantalizing question. Good question.
Scintillating, scintillating. Yeah. Look, I I was listening to a couple people talking about this, and the one thing that is a consistent here is Patty is good for the sport. He's like McGregor Jr. almost, and like just like the fame appeal and like just the draw. Like he's instantly recognizable. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, for the longest time, um, when I was just like a casual fan, didn't really follow, I would just hear Paddy Pimblett's voice on like podcasts and then see Sean O'Malley's appearance and assume they were the same person, to be completely honest with you. It just fit in my mind. But that being said, it seems like a toss up, and these guys kind of have like the same like kind of approach to fighting where they both can take a beating. You know what I mean? They both can just last long. Um, I'm going to go with Benoit Saint Denis because of the. I am using our football gambling mentality here a little bit, Kev, in that I think this is a look ahead spot for Patty in his mind. He has been like chirping people so much, wanting a shot at a title, that he's not really thinking about what's in front of him. So, yeah, gambler brain purely on this. Give me Benoit Saint Denis. And
Okay.
also, the man's nickname is the God of War. He was in the France like special forces or
Mhm.
something. He might have actually killed people in his life. So that being said, well, I mean, I don't know if France is fighting anybody, to be honest with you, but regardless, yeah. I thought that was just cool. I haven't seen any of these guys with the special forces tag up to this point.
Yeah. No,
And he
he's a
looks
tough
like a
guy.
killer. Like,
Yeah,
look at that guy.
yeah, up until his first loss was against Dustin Poirier, and up until that, he came in against Poirier as like a 2-1 favorite or something crazy, just because he had been. If you're not a good fighter, the worst person you can face is Benoit Saint Denis. He's gonna
Mm.
hurt you, and then he's gonna choke you. With that said, Paddy's fighting style, which is, albeit very sloppy on the feet, but unorthodox. If Paddy can get him to the ground, I just think back to BSD's fight against Hanato Moicano. Yeah, in France, it would sometimes, being the home fighter is a disadvantage because of all the pressure. But yeah, Moicano was able to get him down, control him, and just stay on him, land ground and pound. I mean, the similarities between what Paddy Pimblett did to Michael Chandler and what Moicano did to BSD, my brain's not able to separate them. I think that's what's going to ultimately happen. I think he's gonna either get Benoit down by a takedown, by a trip, maybe he stings him, or even maybe he gets clipped and Benoit falls him to the ground. I think Chandler took Paddy down and then Paddy reversed it and ended up getting the ground and pound finish. So I see that and again, if BSD is very good at grappling against people who don't really know how to grapple. Like he choked out Mauricio Hufi, which was very impressive. But Paddy's been grappling his whole career. I I see this one as this might be the one I'm most confident in.
Okay.
So it probably means I'm going to get it wrong, but yeah, that's my thoughts. Current, what do you got on it?
Honestly, Kevin, I'm in the same boat as you. I think that this is going to be a great fight for as long as it lasts. These are both two very talented and exciting lightweights who are just so much fun to watch. To your point, Patty, a little bit unorthodox, has a fun walkout, still is, a very technical and talented fighter, especially on the ground. I think he's got a very slick ground game. And I think this one's going to be a bloodbath because they're both so tough. So whether
Yep.
it's a first round finish, second, I mean, it could go to the decision, although I really do doubt it. I think it's going to be super exciting. Now, I will say I'm going to give Benoit the power advantage. He is a very big, strong lightweight. And Kevin, you made a really good point. If you are a fighter who is not the most elite of the elite, Benoit is just going to run right through you because he has no regard for his own health or safety. He's just going to walk forward. And unless your name's Dustin Poirier and you can knock someone out, um, or, Justin Gaethje or one of these guys that really just has one shot knockout power or just is a great striker, Benoit's probably just going to steamroll you. Um, but BSD does tend to get caught, and he does tire out. And I've seen pictures of him with staff.
I
So
saw that too.
yeah, if
He
he
had
has this,
staff going into the Poirier fight also,
yeah,
Wait,
and
wait, wait, wait. Back up, fellas. Staff. What do you mean by that?
like
it's an
a staph
infection.
infection.
Oh,
Yeah.
ugh,
Yeah.
Yeah, and
ugh.
I've seen it on his ear and I saw it on his foot in different pictures. So he might have it in multiple places. So I think he's
A
not fully
bath,
healthy.
for God's
I
sake. God.
Yeah, I mean, my man really does not like to clean up after his
S
practices, but
not doing good for the French stereotype
no,
of them
no.
being
I
stiff.
knew you were gonna say that too. I knew that was coming. I knew that was coming. Okay.
Yeah,
Um,
I think if Patty takes him down, he's going to be able to take control and flatten him out. On the flip side, unless Benoit like shuts Patty's lights out like that, I
yep.
think Patty could get a triangle choke from his back. He has a very very good triangle choke. So, and
Yep.
Benoit Saint Denis does not. He's not a master of sport in combat sambo. They're really good at defending against triangle chokes. I think he could get caught in a submission. So I'm going Patty sub.
Okay.
Ooh, okay.
I will say this, fellas. I do hope I've been talking about submission this whole episode. This is the one that I went with KO. I do hope they stay on their feet. I think this one has the most potential for that to happen.
True. Yeah, and, I know I've touched on the French hygiene stereotype, but one other France stereotype I'd like to lay to rest while I have the microphone here, and while Tyler gets nervous. Yeah, talking about them like
How do I?
waving the white flag and quitting, you realize the bourgeoisie pushed that stereotype on us because they don't want us to remember what France did to their bourgeoisie about 150 years ago. That's why people promulgate the meme that France are wimps because you Tyler, where'd you go, man? Mm. Tyler hates when the proletariat gets all excited. All right, should we get to the bread and circuses finale here?
It's like somebody from 4chan just appeared and like just started saying everything that's going to annoy me. But okay, let's get into the main fight.
All right, a little more enthusiasm. We got McGregor's return
Yes,
after 5 years.
I believe.
2021 breaks his leg against Dustin Poirier.
Yep.
But he went to the hospital. I believe Jolene came with him to the hospital. At least that's what she was saying in the DMs. And he is back. He went on a few cycles, a few HGH, maybe some tren. Who knows what all he got on, but he was out of the testing pool for about 2.5 years. Thought he was coming back against Chandler. Psych. You don't get that fight, Mike.
You'll do what you're
And
told.
yeah, you'll
That's
do what you're
so.
told.
No, we don't say anything bad about Michael Chandler on this show, Kevin.
True.
Are you
Oh,
passing it to me? What was
God,
it?
I will say I do hope that Chandler does retire. He was talking about coming back
Yeah.
better than ever.
See you at the
But
top.
He came out explosive at the start of that fight. I thought he was gonna
well,
have
it's
something
that
going,
just
but
and we'll clip the video to where when it's just the breakdown of this video, we'll cut all this stuff out. But just like when Chandler and Houthi were facing, the size difference was crazy, and I've
yeah.
noticed that like each new like the younger fighters are just like mogging the older fighters in size, and it's just like they keep getting bigger and big. What is when is it going to there's got to be a limit to it. Michael Morales, the welterweight, he's huge, like, and it's just up until this point, each new generation has been bigger and better at cutting the weight, but like something's got to give, and that
Have
Houthi fight with
in 20 years, we're all gonna be having 100 grams of protein for breakfast, and we're all gonna be on GLP-1s. So the entire world is just going to be a jacked menace. So it's going to get worse.
Oh, yeah, I mean, hopefully that makes some UFC divisions more interesting, actually.
Right.
But enough of the
Enough
sidetracking there.
preamble.
We do
Yeah,
have a very exciting main event. The fact that it's at 170 pounds, I think, is
that's nuts.
I think that adds one more wrinkle to it, to where if you're trying to find a way to give McGregor the edge, I think it's that 170. Max Holloway has been doing a great job in the last week or so, making you believe that McGregor is in a second prime. He's saying he brings up a good point that Max has been fighting for 5 years. He's been getting wear and tear. He's been getting injuries. He's been dealing with that. Conor has not been fighting. He's not been taking the physical toll on his body from fighting.
So you're
Um,
taking that as a positive in your mind.
yeah, just
Okay.
like he had, like every fight camp, the fighters come walking into the octagon with a number of undisclosed injuries, not to mention just the weight cut. You're essentially tricking your body that you're dying, and so there is some. this is big McGregor cope here, but there is some um benefit to not fighting. And then Max did also
Yeah.
say, we've only seen the clips of him out partying and stuff. Like,
Mm,
that's not 24/7 for him. We don't know how much he's been training the last five
right.
years. Like, just because even if it's every 2 weeks, some obscene clip comes out of McGregor, it doesn't mean he's on 2 week benders. But that's that. Like, my point in getting all this across is that Max has done a good job in selling this fight, I think.
That's good, and, to your point, Kev, like, it is McGregor, we all know what McGregor is, but I watched, like, the preview for the main card, like, the UFC promo event. He seemed like he was pretty locked in. He
Yeah.
did, like, and he was very much, like, willing to accept, like, "Yes, it's been 5 years, and yes, I tried to come back, and I got a toe injury in practice, but here we are, and now I'm actually back to fighting." Um, Props to Max for, getting ahead and trying to build a storyline out of it. But we can talk about this one all the live long day. But and to make a football analogy of it, this is like when Philip Rivers came back a little bit. It's like, what do we really like? What all do we know? We don't know anything until he's out there. We all know that fatigue is always McGregor's biggest enemy. And Max, a guy who only has a 56% finish rate, is a guy who loves going the distance. So if we see McGregor come out with the same power that he had in his prime, then yeah, I think he would be able to overpower Max. The problem is, and I get what you're saying, Kev, about not taking damage and all that. Sports across the board, I always take the mentality of the cobwebs are a thing. And I think that's the only, like, in my brain, I cannot get past that fact. He's been out of the game for 5 years. His body's sustained a lot of injuries, mostly to his legs, which are his main weapons that he loves to use when he's fighting. So, I mean, if those are still a little bit, what was that?
Oh, I was just gonna say, I feel like his left hand's probably his main
Isn't
absolute
he?
main weapon, but no,
But isn't he
agreed.
known more for being a southpaw kickboxer, I thought?
I think the when people talk about his signature move, it's kind of like Pierre Alex Pereira's left hook or right
Okay.
hook, but McGregor's southpaw left counter is kind of his. That's how he knocked out Jose Aldo. I believe that's how he started the sequence against
Okay.
Eddie Alvarez.
Um,
But no, his kicks are. I mean, if you just have a left hand, you have nothing. Once you get up there with with skilled fighters like Max Holloway, he'll be able to avoid just the left hand. So it's you gotta use he can throw some good kicks.
no,
Sorry to
no,
be
you're
annoying
you're
about
good,
that.
you're good. Now the one thing I'll end on for my spiel is this is actually going to only be the second fight that I've ever seen Mr. McGregor in my lifetime. First UFC fight. So you guys
Hmm.
probably know what the first one was that I saw. It's the one that the whole world saw.
Him punching the DJ.
Close.
Oh,
Um,
Mayweather.
Mayweather.
there you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes, Curran was able to pick up on that obvious one. I appreciate it. But yeah, nah. So because of the age thing, I'm gonna go Mr. Max Holloway, and he doesn't stray from what's worked with him. It's gonna be my decision.
I like that. I like that. I think it's crazy because Kevin made a good point. This is the first time we've seen Conor McGregor fight since 2021, and that's back when he fought Dustin Poirier, and it was a big grudge match for the two of them, which, as we know, infamously ended with Conor snapping his leg and then screaming all sorts of
Mm.
nasty things. Joe Rogan was crouched over in the octagon cage holding a mic to Conor McGregor while he was, in pain with all the adrenaline running through and just saying some crazy stuff. And that's when
Your
the
wife is
titanium.
in me DMs. Hey baby, hit me up at the after party.
Is Dustin Poirier gonna be in attendance? How's he doing
I
nowadays?
hope no. Oh, not well. He was. That's a story for another day. We could talk about that another.
Yeah, what the alternate timeline of McGregor is in a fight and Poirier was having his troubles. That is
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
that
no, they flip flopped. They
Yeah.
did.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
was listening. Quick sidebar, Karen, then I'll get it back to you. I was listening to Poirier Poirier's podcast, and they just completely, like, they said, "Yeah, Max is getting better. He'll be back next week." Just completely did not address anything about it. It's too funny.
I don't blame him.
Yeah, I don't either. There's some whack stuff going on with him.
Yeah.
Hopefully he gets better. But
They
back to the
tried to
fight.
claim that he was drugged. I just want to point that out there. I'm done.
But anyways, that's when Titanium Shinbone McGregor was born.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's been 5 years. Ring rust really catches up to you in this game. He's 37 now. Max is still relatively young at 34. I mean, he's got a lot of miles on him. I mean, the point I was going to make is, yes, Kevin, you called something out that I definitely want to touch on, which is they're fighting at 170, and that definitely favors Connor. Now, I will say, I feel like Max probably walks around that weight, probably like 170, 180. So, I mean, at least he doesn't have to cut any weight. But yeah, I would think that Connor would have a massive power advantage. And Max has taken some pretty big shots through his career. I mean, the dude has had an iron chin up until, he fought Dustin Poirier and Ilya and all those guys. I mean, who could blame him? Those fighters put people's lights out, left and right.
Yep.
I am a little concerned if he is eating clean punches from Connor, he could get hurt badly and could potentially be finished. But the longer this fight goes, the longer I'd give it to Max. I think he's just, if this fight makes it past the second round, I think Max is just going to be walking Connor down. He's just going to break him. But I'll tell you what, man, in 24 hours' time, Joe, this man will pay with his life.
Let's go.
That was beautiful. That's a short right there. No.
That's an illegal knee, Joe. If anything, we get another McGregor press conference. We get fight week. We get quotes. Even at the UFC 250, the little interview where he was like, "You have to excuse my son, Max." Like, just any time, like it is gold. That he just contributes so much to the
He does.
meta of the sport. But
Yep. Speaking of the meta of the sport, fellas, one thing I realized earlier, Sean Strickland still has the belt. What's the deal with that?
well, I mean, I guess he's probably going to fight Nasruddin Imavov next. I think.
But is he still allowed at UFC stuff? Like, what's
Oh,
the?
yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Totally. I
All
mean, they
right,
don't
maybe
want
I
him
need
as a
a
champion.
maybe I need a history lesson because the last I saw of the man, he was getting kicked out of UFC
Yeah.
250.
Well, I mean,
So
McGregor famously threw a dolly through a bus window and like because he thought Habib was on the bus, faced charges. He was in the octagon against Habib like within 18 months, I believe.
the
So
sport definitely does have the reality TV aspect
yeah,
now.
it does. But yeah, my breakdown of this fight though, actually like looking into the X's and O's, I think McGregor when he was coming up, like his rise, just his ability to counter strike, as you said, he had good kicks as well. Like setting up traps and dead spaces with that left hand. That was like a God, I don't want to say meta again, but that was like a meta defining, that's like when Steph Curry and Klay Thompson started like throwing up so many threes and kind of changed the way that the NBA was played. But just like with them, like the game adjusts. And I think his style and his advantages and his strong points, the game has already adjusted to be able to counter that very well. And then when you add in the fact that he doesn't have the best cardio, not even when he was regularly fighting, he still had some cardio issues. Now he's been off for 5 years and he's got a whole bunch of extra muscle mass. Like that's just going to make him fatigue sooner. Max and his team, like I said, the McGregor, taking the sport by storm, that was a decade ago. The strategy and the game plans to get past that, it's it's right there. I don't know it. I'm not that good at the X's and O's of this sport. I'm not a coach, but I'm gonna have faith that whoever Max's team is can put together a game plan where the first round is probably gonna be boring. Like he's gonna just be staying out of the way, probably kicking that leg, testing to see how good that implant is. Just
got to,
moving
yeah.
in real quick, coming out, not getting caught. And by the second round, I think McGregor will start to fade, and I think I have this as like a round 3 TKO win for Max.
It's a good
I
pick.
I hope it doesn't end like, really bad for McGregor. That's what I will say.
Yeah, because I mean, there's gotta be this could very well be his last fight,
Right.
but if he does get a win, he can have a title shot at 155, at 170, hell, even 185. You know, he if he wins, he's got another golden ticket, to whatever he wants to do next. The one other piece, so when we covered the Charles Oliveira Max Holloway BMF belt, we all picked Charles. I believe all three of us picked Charles to get the upset. You know, that was such a dominant win that people forget. People forget, man. Charles was like a 2-1 underdog in that fight, and all three of us picked him to win.
Mm,
The reason why I picked him to win is because watching the embeddeds, watching the press conference, Max seemed off. There's like when I'm of all Max Holloway's fights, I swear I've known if he's gonna like I've known if he's gonna win or not just by how he's acting in the pre-fight. There's just I can't really describe it. Anyway, this week, this fight build up, he's not been acting in the way that is indicative that he'll lose. You can not gonna elaborate, but that's really why I'm very, very sure he's
it
not doing his he's not doing his weird like where he gets mad at his opponent and just kind of like seems confused. Like he is locked
Yeah.
in. He was on the UFC Embedded episode 2 that dropped earlier today. He was playing cornhole. He was locked in. I saw him. They
that
were playing bust rule, which is kind of dumb, but yeah, give me Max round 3 TKO.
I'm riding with my boy Mystic Kev here. I think my
okay.
boy Mystic Kev knows what he's talking about. So
Yep. Playing cornhole equals locked in.
Mhm.
Okay.
Hey, man.
Fair enough. You guys gave me something to think about though for the future. I got to start thinking about these guys moving up and down the weight classes and factoring that into my decision because I have not been doing that up to this point.
Yeah, there's 2 reasons why 3 reasons why people move weight classes. Either they're a champion and they've already gotten 1 or 2 defenses and they immediately wanna get the double champ, or they've lost twice in their division, they have no path to a title, so then they'll move to a different weight class and you kinda get, like, a free start, or they have trouble with the weight cut and they gotta go up, like, they miss weight and Dana says, "No more fatty, you gotta go up."
Okay. Hey, we love our thick boys fighting out there. Hashtag hoke
Mhm.
it. All right.
Should we take a look at the spread here?
Let's take a look.
A lot of purple.
God, that is a multicolored board right there, Kev.
Mhm. Not to mention so you guys didn't pick the first fight, and that's a pick 'em too. I feel like I gotta get another color to kinda show that. Um, Because yeah, it looks like I only took 1 underdog, when really I took, I guess, only 1 underdog, but you guys really showed out
Yeah.
with your underdogs.
All right. Well, all I can say is the graphic favors McGregor to win.
I will say whenever we're all 3 aligned on something, as long as it's not the last time we did this, we were right.
yeah.
If Max Holloway is fighting and we all 3 align on the outcome of that fight, 1 out of 1 times we've gotten it right.
Yeah.
Well,
But
we all
the last time that we did it and we were all wrong was the main fight. So 250. Did anybody have
Aaron, what did
Gaethje?
you have? You had some analysis?
oh no, I think he's right. I think we all picked Ilya, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we all picked Ilya and we
Yeah.
all picked, Poatan.
Per- well, okay. The difference here, I'll say this: the method of victory for Max's win is all different. All 3 of us.
Man,
True.
you
So that's
guys
the
really think
caveat.
he's going to change up the pace, huh?
I don't know, man. I think it's
I'm just looking at the numbers purely, man. The man's got the lowest finish percentage of the entire group.
You
yeah.
have him winning by sub, don't you?
No, I said, wait, I thought I said decision. What the hell?
Well, I mean, yeah, I don't the only reason why I don't see going to decision is because I don't trust Connor's cardio to get it to decision.
All
Yeah.
right, well, screw it. If that's what I texted you, then you guys really picked something other than a submission. What's wrong with you? All right.
We're
Yeah, we
dummies.
almost had down the card submissions by which man, if you had guessed down the card TKOs for that White House card, you would have won.
Right.
That every
Yeah.
single fight ended in a TKO. So who's to say every fight couldn't end in a submission, Tyler?
Who's to say? All right.
Well, yeah.
Any closing thoughts on UFC, boys?
No,
No, I'm
good stuff.
All right. Well,
we got a drought
everybody,
after
if
this.
you've actually watched this far, thank you again so much. Like I said at the beginning of this episode, me and Kev had to have a conversation text about not burning out. That's how much effort we've been putting into this crap. So remember to like and subscribe, guys. The next episode that you will see is going to be us talking college football, like we mentioned earlier, about Notre Dame, BYU, and Texas Tech. And we're going to hopefully get you guys some bonus footage this upcoming weekend and some shorts.
Yep. Well, next episode is who knows who's gonna. It all depends on who gets their upload out first. So, yeah. All right,
All right.
fellas.
Peace.
Good
Thank
stuff,
you all.
guys.
Bye.
All right.